Give the gift of Rev Voice this Christmas. Rejoice with Rev Voice when you sign up and enter to win 12 days of giveaways, including a 2015 Jeep Wrangler from Bahamas Bus and Truck.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, MB12 records show an increase in the murder rate. This as another man is killed overnight. The F&M says government must be held accountable for crime in the country. But the Attorney General says she's satisfied with the Swift Justice Initiative. Plus, Christmas looks bleak for residents of a home for the aged. We'll tell you how you can help. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. The murder count climbed to 14 last night after a Nassau Village man was gunned down in that community and died en route to hospital. As a result of that killing, police had to block access to Soldier Road near the roundabout connecting to Village Road. Chief Superintendent Paul Roll told reporters that events began at a home through Forbes Street in Nassau Village, where a man and his brother were sitting in the petty shop the man operated. Roll said the two men saw three men approaching them with guns and then ran. However, the gunman gave chase and shot the victim several times. Roll explained what happened next.
They then ran out of the store towards the rear, being pursued by the man, who discharged several shots in their direction, hitting the victim multiple times to the back. His brother then placed him in his vehicle and left Nassau Village en route to Princess Margaret Hospital. On their way along Soldier Road, a patrol car observed them driving at a high rate of speed and intercepted the vehicle where it came to a stop here at the service station and summoned EMS to render some assistance. And EMS made a check of the victim and pronounced him lifeless.
Roll said they are still searching for the suspects in this latest killing and two other murders that occurred this week.
I wish to make a further appeal for two murders that occurred, one on the East-West Highway earlier in the week, where persons were driving and had to stop due to some stones in the road, and persons ran out of the Montel Heights area and discharged shot, fatally wounding one of those individuals. We also make a further appeal for information on the homicide last night involving the police officer. And persons would have seen this, and we're asking them to reach out to us at CDU, or they can call any of the police stations and to provide information so that we can try and advance these investigations.
Roll also gave details on the man already being questioned in connection with the murder of Sergeant Wayne Roll.
We picked up a suspect last night for questioning around 11 p.m. last night. Officers took a suspect into custody. We have him at CDU. We're still talking to him and trying to see where that will lead.
While MB12 understands that the suspect in Sergeant Roll's murder was released from prison on bail while awaiting trial for a double murder, according to our sources, he was released at around 2 p.m. Thursday, and Sergeant Roll was killed at around 7 p.m. that same day. We also understand that the suspect was placed in the area of Roll's murder through his electronic monitoring bracelet. Meantime, Roll's family is also asking for assistance in finding other suspects and asked for space during this difficult time. Well, following a week of bloodshed in New Providence, members of the support group Families of All Murder Victims says the violence must stop, as this is MB12 and the Nassau Guardian records reveal murders have increased this year. Our Jasmine Brown has details in this report.
Despite the fact that overall crime was down during the first half of 2014, violent crimes continue to increase. In fact, this past week, several murders were recorded, including the execution-style killing of an off-duty police officer.
Records compiled by our news team indicate murders increased by 12% between January 1st and December 5th, 2014, compared to the same period in 2013. There were 102 murders recorded in 2013 during the period, compared to the 114 murders recorded for the year so far. 11 people were murdered in January, 8 in February, 9 in March, 12 in April, 16 in May, 7 in June, and 6 in July. There have been several people killed this week. One of those was a police officer who was shot on Montrose Avenue and Durham Street Thursday night. The off-duty officer was shot while sitting in his Jeep. Police said they did not know what the motive was for the shooting. As the murder rate soars, FOAM President Candy Gibson says no matter the rank or background of a victim, there are simply too many lives being taken.
So often in this country, like we don't care, like once a bad boy get killed or someone was hauled before, the car before, or someone was locked up in murder before, we don't care. But do bear in mind, Ms. Brown, that person still has family. Don't, regardless of how your child is, that's still a mother's child. And if today or tomorrow something happens to him, we would all grieve. But like I would say, at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference what is over. The invisible silent victim is the children.
Gibson says FOAM continues to counsel the families of murder victims. She says the bloodshed continues to tear families apart. She adds that the violence has to stop and it must be a joint effort.
It sickens me to go on murder scenes now and have to say to come for the grieving mother when it could have been prevented. So,
reporting for NB12 Weekend, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, Free National Movement Chairman Michael Pintard is accusing the Progressive Liberal Party of making crime a political issue without fulfilling any of its campaign promises to tackle crime. Pintard told NB12 it's a shame that both the Prime Minister and Commissioner of Police have failed to address the nation since the recent spike in murders.
They have an obligation to help the public understand that despite their careful evaluation of the situation, and the promises they made as a result of that evaluation, why they have failed in terms of tackling crime and effectively inspiring Bahamians that they have a grasp of what is going on and they can deal with it.
Well, following a spree of violent killings in late October, the Ministry of National Security hosted a conclave with stakeholders to develop a strategy to reduce crime. At the time, the Minister of National Security refused to reveal the details of that meeting. Pintard said Bahamians are living in fear and government ought to alleviate that fear by explaining what course of action will be taken to fight crime.
The first thing I think we need that I have not heard is really a comprehensive and coherent plan articulated by the Chief Executive Officer of the country, the Prime Minister, that is supported by both his Minister for National Security and Minister of State, and further supported by the police. And obviously the public expects that there would be unity in this approach. We have not heard such a plan articulated. Further evidence that no plan appears to exist is that the Commissioner of Police, Minister of State, and Minister for National Security and the Prime Minister on the very same subject have different points of views in terms of which policies and programs are working.
And as 2014 comes to an end, Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson says her office is pleased with the results of the Christie administration's Swift Justice Initiative.
The changes and, of course, the team in the Office of the Attorney General, I think that the Swift Justice has been extremely successful. Most importantly, it's just not my feeling, the statistics show it. Because of the systems that have been implemented with suggestions, wonderful and rich suggestions of the judges of the Supreme Court, we've been able to get matters to court more rapidly.
Maynard Gibson says those statistics show the timeline for cases to be brought to court has been nearly cut in half.
We've gone down from 230 days to 120 days for the presentation of a VBI, and we're continuing to try to improve on that number. It's extremely important. We've gone down from 435 days from charge to trial to 200 odd days from charge to trial, so they've cut that number in half.
In January, the Attorney General said the court calendar was already in 2016, and there were more than 1,000 backlogged cases, including serious offenses committed last year. The AG says she believes swift justice is working to reduce that backlog. Stay with us. When NB12 returns, plans underway to expand the local aviation sector. And later, a home for the elderly renews its call for assistance this holiday season. Stay with us. We've got those stories and more when we come right back.